Oops. Welcome to the Lift Heavy Run Long podcast, episode number 161. You can find us at www.liftheavyrunlong.com, on Twitter and Instagram at liftrunlong. Also, feel free to email me directly at the address wilson@liftheavyrunlong.com. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel and leave us a 5-star review on iTunes. If you're not a member of our Facebook group, you should be, because we want you to be there. Search for Lift Heavy Run Long Community and request to join right now. My name is Wilson Horrell. I am one of your hosts. I'd like to remind you that the Lift Heavy Run Long podcast is not censored, so listen at your own risk. Lift Heavy Run Long has an app, and we want you to be on it. For $3.99 per month, you can be part of that app. And with that, you will have access to the greatest endurance trainer in the world, Ms. Valerie Hunt of RunRx.fit, and she will deliver to your calendar 3 bodyweight exercises each week, along with 4 barbell strength exercises and 4 daily WODs. For $9.99 per month, you can have access to all the programs that Lift Heavy Run Long has to offer, everything from 5K programs to 100-mile programs to Spartan races to triathlons. If you or someone you know does not have $3.99 a month, but you believe that fitness will increase the quality of your life or their life, then please email me at wilson@liftheavyrunlong.com, and I'll be happy to add you to the app free of charge. Right now, you need to do these things. First, go to iTunes, leave us a 5-star review. Second, go to YouTube, subscribe to our channel. Third, go to www.liftheavyrunlong.com. Click on sign up now, take a look at our programs. Put your email in any one of those programs that interest you, and you will be subscribed to a free week on the Lift Heavy Run Long app. If you don't choose to continue with the app, then after that week, the program goes away. Nothing to it. It's just that easy.
It's just gone.
And then we sell your email address to somebody, but we don't know what they do with it. I have sitting to my right my best friend and wife, Jacked and Tan, Dr. Amanda Kimsey Horrell.
What's up?
How are you?
I'm doing well. How about you?
I'm good. How's your boot?
It's trucking along.
Trucking along. Feeling
that
okay?
That was B-O-O-T. Boot.
Boot. It
boot.
is.
How's your boot?
It has.
Boot.
I think everybody in the entire hospital has asked me what I've done to my foot.
What do you say? Do you make up different stories every time somebody asks?
That's what I would do.
Sometimes, yeah.
I'd be like, well, I was at ballerina practice and...
Well, I know. I'm like, sometimes
practice.
I say I was running into stress fracture. And sometimes I say, well, when I'm doing dumbbells and toss them down the ground, they bounce. And sometimes they land on my feet, so maybe it hit my foot wrong. Just whatever kind of comes out of my mouth that day.
That's what I would say. That's the story I would
totally
Well, we don't
make
really
shit up.
know. She hasn't really pinpointed it.
I'd be like, well, I was training with the gymnastics national team, and I was doing my floor exercise, and, you know.
Then they wanted me to teach them how to deadlift. And so I did that. But when I dropped the barbell, my foot got a little close.
See, that brings it a little too close back to the truth.
I don't even need to introduce the voice that you just heard, because that is the Reverend Von Rawls.
That's me you're talking about there.
How are you, man?
I'm doing well, thank you.
I'm sorry about your father-in-law.
Oh,
Holly's
man.
father passed away. It's very sad.
It is really sad. It's, you know, I don't want to talk about it too much because the flood works will just start.
I understand.
Like, it's so weird, man. Like, he's been sick he's had cancer. He's had so many different kinds of cancer. He started with leukemia, and he's had different kinds of leukemia, and he's had lung cancer, and he's had other kinds of cancers that just pop up.
And every single time he said, fuck you, cancer.
He did. I mean, this dude, he's ornery as hell. Like, he's so stubborn. Like, I literally thought, like, and I was telling Holly, like, he's going to be in that hospital for another month. Like, the doctor's like, he's not going home. You know, you got to call everybody in to come say goodbye to him and all these kinds of things. And I was like, Holly, he's not going anywhere. He's not he'll be in there for another 30 days. And he'll probably end up getting up and walking out of the damn hospital.
Well, didn't you say they counted them out a half dozen times already?
Yeah, I mean, and that's what I was going to say is, I guess it's probably 2 years ago. We were they have a house on the river that we go to a lot, and he and I were sitting on the front porch together. Everybody had gone into town to go to Walmart or whatever, and we were sitting there, and he says, I'm not going to be here next year. It's just going to be you. And we had this conversation about how, the doctor said 6 months from now, I'm not going to be here. And, I probably won't be able to come back up here anymore. And had a long conversation about, what's going to happen after and all that kind of stuff. And I was like, man, don't worry about it. It's going to be all right. And he ended up living like 4 more, it's like he 2 years later, he was still alive and kicking. I mean, like 2 weeks ago, we had barbecue. He cooked us barbecue at his house like 2 weeks ago. So
I think one of my favorite stories of all of this that's happened in the last week is him waking up in the hospital at like 3 a.m. being like, y'all need to let me out of here. I got to go make the sides.
Right, yeah. He's
we're all supposed to be at the river this weekend. I got to make the sides for lunch, that we're going to be eating or whatever.
Oh,
right.
wow.
He's like, so it was Memorial Day, and we were all going to the river. And he goes Labor Day, sorry. He's goes into the hospital Friday morning, Thursday night or something, and we're all had a trip planned to the river. And the doc says, bring the family here because he's, not going to make it. And so we're like, okay, well, we go to the hospital. And Dennis is not in good shape, but he's in and out. And so one time he woke up and he goes, I got to help Vaughn with the sides for the grilling on Sunday or Saturday night, blah, blah, blah. And he was just concerned about that. And so we sat there for a while, and then we, Holly and I decided to go to the river. We went to the river, and Dennis's kids, he's got kids in Atlanta that came to visit with him and all that kind of stuff. And then we got back and whatever, and all that happened. But, it's so funny how that dude meant a lot to me, and he didn't like me. I always say he didn't like me very much. He was like I irritated the shit out of that man, like to a degree that I don't even know that I irritate anyone as bad as I irritate Dennis.
I think you underestimate yourself.
But probably so. But we had a lot of good times together, and he really did a lot of stuff. Hey, man, we wouldn't have our gym if it wasn't for him, because he wrote a check when that gym opened. That's why we got that's how that rig on the wall, he bought it. All those old plates and barbells that are in that Olive Branch CrossFit, he wrote the check for it.
Man.
So.
Isn't that something when you really put somebody's life together and look back on the meaning that somebody had? That
absolutely.
At the time may have seemed so minuscule.
Yeah.
But it just snowballs.
Yeah. And then when the gym was falling apart again, he wrote another check for $10,000. So he did so much for me personally. Then.
Wow. Well, then he did a lot for me too,
yeah,
and a lot of other people.
Yeah.
I was going to say,
and mine and Amanda's relationship is because of Dennis.
That's right.
Yep.
That's right. I mean, he, who knows what it would have been if he hadn't done what he did. So
I think his impact is immeasurable, but I think that also says a lot about that he liked you.
I know he did, and he was, especially as he got sick, he was just mean as hell to everybody, and rightly so. I mean, if I had 5 kinds of cancers, I'd probably be pissed off at everyone too. But it's just sad,
Yeah. Well, our heart goes out to you and Holly and your whole family.
Mm-hmm.
Big Thirsty behind the camera, the best looking cameraman in the business, has 2 computers up and ready to roll.
How you doing, man?
I'm good.
He can do some research over there.
Yeah. He can prove everybody wrong quickly.
I'm going to need a budget for what I got going on this side of the camera
Okay.
because I watched the Joe Rogan podcast this past weekend.
Uh-huh.
And
Have you not watched it before?
I've never watched it.
Oh, man, he's got the setup, dude.
Well, so forgetting about his setup with his guest or whatever, he would look off camera and he'd be like, "Hey, look up that video."
Yeah.
And then he'd pull up the video, and then his off-camera guy would pull up the video.
It'll come on screen.
And then
and you can watch
they
it.
had a TV that the people that were actually on the show could watch it and do all, and that kind of a thing. And I'm like, we need to up our game.
We have everything sitting right here, including a TV and two computers.
I just don't have a connection to that TV.
Oh, okay. Well, that should be hard.
So that I could play.
And the TV has a volume.
The Shure SMB, what is it, 570s? They're like $500 microphones a piece.
Oh, well, I wasn't even getting into all that, but...
Amanda raises a good point. I don't think that TV has volume. I picked it up on the side of the road.
I wasn't going to say that part.
It said
this is like the wannabe Joe Rogan. Like, this is the Joe Rogan Jr. studio.
This is the Joe Rogan Misfit podcast.
That's right.
Well, that TV had a note on it that said everything works, the volume doesn't. But I haven't plugged in. I could probably put a speaker into the headphone jack and get sound just like that.
I don't think you've really tried, have you?
I have not. I haven't tried at all. I haven't had a reason to because I haven't had anybody with the gumption to come over here and hook something up.
That's right.
And bring it up on the TV. All I have people doing is bitching and complaining about our studio that isn't Joe Rogan quality, but it's pretty gosh damn close.
It really is. Not very many people have a place like this.
No, I don't know anybody that has a place like this.
Except
Joe
Rogan.
And what happens every week in 100-degree temperature, y'all walk in here and say, it's too cold.
I didn't say it was too cold. I said it was cold as shit in here.
It's hot in here.
I didn't complain.
It's whatever in here.
And that wasn't a complaint. It was just a statement.
No, it was too. It was
the same thing.
You were complaining. You were yelling at me.
You were yelling at me. You're making that story up.
You know what? We're all wearing blue, different shades of blue.
You all yell at me all the time.
Trying to bring up something happy right now.
Hey, we have some business to talk about.
5-star review?
Business.
No, we don't have any of that.
No.
But somebody can change that right now.
You could change the lives of 4 people that you
really can. One of them you will change drastically. My life changes significantly every time we get a review. Chris Hope 5K is Saturday, October 5th, 2019. Sign up for that. Either come to the race or sign up for the LHRL team and do it virtually.
That's what I did.
Big Hill Pond, Walking Tall, 25K, 50K, October 19th. That's coming up quick. Campsites are sold out, but I think that you can probably talk to Brian Williams or Sean Hilsden has a contact there that I think they have some overflow camping. That's going to be a big deal. It was last year. It's going to be a bigger deal this year. I think only 50K spots are open at this point. So get your name on the list for the 25K and sign up for the 50K.
I was just thinking about parking my car by the world's greatest aid station and sleeping in my car or putting a tent up or something.
I think that's a good idea, and you should do that.
W Gas.
Oh,
We need to get a big sign made up. W Gas.
WGAS. Coming at you live from the Big Hill Pond, WGAS.
Hey.
Vaughn's got his radio voice going.
That's what we can do. We can
hot.
podcast at the greatest aid station ever while you guys are running.
That's
Well,
it. Y'all do whatever you want. You're going to have about 12 hours to do it.
I was going to say, Wilson wants about a 1-hour break in the middle of his run.
Yeah.
So
I don't know.
Just go ahead and record a podcast.
I can't remember if
I would have
had good
finished,
internet
but
or
I
not.
stopped the podcast for 30 minutes, and that's why I'm 10 hours late. Threw me off.
That's why I'm dead last, and I won my shoes.
And we have Carol's workout on October 12th at Olive Branch CrossFit. Anybody and everybody, whether you CrossFit or not, come out and celebrate the life of Carol Swanson.
Yep. All donations will go to Medivivor's org like last year, which is trying to improve research on stage 4 breast cancer. There's a lot of money that goes into breast cancer research, but like less than 1% of it actually goes towards stage 4 breast cancer, and so they're trying to improve the odds for those people that have gotten to that level.
How much did y'all raise last year? Do you remember?
I don't know the number, but I'm going to find out for next week because you asked me.
Just wondering.
Yeah, I don't know.
Don't we also have the CrossFit Games open that same week?
Womp womp.
I don't know.
Doesn't it start that like the 19th to the 20th of October or something?
I don't know, but I think I got like a text message today from
I did too. That's why I was bringing it up, because I saw an email or a text or something.
Yeah.
I
know
got
it's
something
soon.
better than CrossFit Games.
I bet you
that
do.
more people are excited about this than they are the CrossFit Games.
There's no
I know what you're talking about. Me, I definitely am.
And
What?
that's Crystal Lander's One More 24 Sober Run, November 23rd and 24th in Southeast Missouri.
Yeah, I don't know the specifics of where they're doing that at yet. She does, but I don't think they've officially announced it. So we're just going to generically say Southeast Missouri. There will be camping. There will be loops. There will be fun. There will be camaraderie. There will be awesomeness had.
There will be everything.
There will be a significant LHRL presence.
It sounds like there probably will. I mean, if anybody's going to draw an LHRL crowd, it's going to be Crystal.
Seriously.
So this will be a good thing. And join the Facebook group, even if you don't plan on going to the run.
Springfield,
what was it
Springfield,
called again?
Missouri.
One more 24 sober fun run. And it's not, you don't have to be in recovery. It's not just for,
You just have to
anybody.
support people that are in
It's
recovery.
just about supporting people. So it's a good
Is
group.
she raising money for that, or how's
You know,
that
I'm
work?
not real sure.
Okay.
I think in true alcoholic fashion, I think she probably woke up one morning and was like, I'm going to put on a race. And before I get any of the details,
And then
I'm going to
just
throw
did
it
it.
on Facebook.
I like that.
And before any of that, then we're going to invite people and watch it. It's going to go off big and without a hitch. She'll
Well, at
probably have a
least-
blimp.
You know what this is good practice for her is the LHRL experience that we're eventually going to do. Then we just know we've got our girl that can pull this event off.
I was
and
thinking
make
the
it
same
happen.
thing.
Because she can make it happen where you jump out of a helicopter with
Fireworks coming out of my butt.
coming out of your butt. with
Like
a parachute.
Howard Stern.
Oh,
at the
speaking of
MTV
which,
Video Awards.
I hate to completely derail the conversation. I went skydiving this past weekend.
Oh, I forgot about that.
What?
How was that?
I didn't know anything about that.
Last weekend was Carol's birthday. Carol, after she found out she had breast cancer, wanted to go skydiving, but the doctor cautioned against it because the cancer was in her bones, and it would have potentially caused paralysis or anything if she landed wrong. So told her no, and so she never got to go. So me and my youngest son took Carol skydiving on Sunday.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
That's really neat.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
So-
How was
nice
it?
Ode.
It was fantastic. It was my second time jumping. It was his second or third time jumping, I think, and we had a great time.
I
You know,
just
it
don't
was-
think I could.
I'd
Even
have a hard
strapped to
time
somebody, I'd be
getting
like,
out of
wait,
that
wait,
plane.
wait, one more
Yeah.
Well,
bit.
and so that was the thing. So
We'd
you
have
know,
to talk about a few things before I was
my my first time jumping was a little bit different at a different place, but very much like you've got this person strapped to your back, and you have to move as one, you know, and so you're waddling towards the door. And the first time, like they told me to put my hands on the door, and then I'm going to say 3, 2, 1, go, and then you're going to pull your hands down, and you're just going to like roll out of the plane. And so the first time, you know, I put my hands up there, and the guy's like, all right, 3, 2, 1, go. And my hands are still up on the plane. And he's like, go. And I was like, oh, okay. And like, it literally took me probably an extra 3 to 5 seconds before I actually released and like let him push me out of the plane. This time, it was very much don't touch the edges of the plane, move to the door. And then the guy just, you know, he's on your back, so he can push you around, literally. And so he just, you know, pushed me, and I mean, it wasn't bad. Like, my anxiety was a tenth of what it was the first time I did it. This time,
My anxiety right now is probably
Yeah,
bigger
mine's
than
like,
yours was at the moment.
it's so amazing, though. Like, you know, the first 60 seconds is generally free fall. We went up to over 14,000 feet and jumped out of the plane. First 60 seconds, there's so much wind noise, but it's quieting that there's so much wind noise, if that makes any sense. And then they pull the chute, and that's kind of a jerking experience, you know, obviously the chute finally catching you and, you know, that kind of thing. And then the guy's like, all right, good, the chute worked.
Can he talk to you while you're
yeah.
doing it? Okay.
Yeah,
you got
yeah,
headphones
yeah.
on or something?
No, well, once the chute's pulled, there's no wind noise. While we're free falling, there's just hand signals. We worked out like all the
Okay.
hand signals ahead of time, you know, to make sure I'm okay, and you know, for him to tell me that like I'm not arching right, or you know, anything that I could be doing wrong to not make things as good as they could be. But once the chute's pulled, it is eerily quiet.
Can you
Like-
believe that there was a person who pioneered this to figure it all out?
Right. Who
And there's
thought
have
it
to
would
be
a
numerous
good-
people, and he had to have gotten friends to be like, "No, you got to try it."
Well, I'm sure that the initial idea, you know, you got to think back to the early 1900s. You know, Wright brothers invent planes. Well, planes are going to crash, so we need some way to not die during that crash. So we figure out some way to free fall, right?
Interesting.
Free fall, like and not die from the crashing part of the plane. We know the plane's going to go down. Well, then somebody's like, well, that was fucking fun. We should just do that for fun. Like, who can take us up in their plane, and we'll just jump out of their plane, and they can land the plane, but we're going to just jump for jumping's sake. Like,
That makes sense. I went straight to some guys from Arkansas with Bud Light and crystal meth, just jumping out of an advanced airplane. But yeah, I guess that had to have started.
that would be my guess. I mean, I have no idea, but that's my guess.
My mom has always wanted to do it, and I bought her a gift certificate to do it because they have an airport down the road from her house that does it, and she never went down and did it. And now that she's had that neck surgery where she has some vertebrae fused, if there's quite a jerk when they pull the parachute, I don't know if her
Doctor would be able
body
to tell
can
her.
handle it. Makes me kind of sad. She's 72, still wants to jump out of a plane.
Wow.
Speaking of being on a plane, Gary Owens is on a plane right now listening to last week's episode from 35,000 feet.
Whoa.
Gary loves to listen to the Lift Heavy Run Long podcast on an airplane.
That's awesome.
That is so cool. Totally cool.
So anyways, it was an amazing experience, and it's funny, like guy pulls the parachute, you go through that jerk or whatever, and all of a sudden he's like, I'm going to adjust some of the straps, don't be alarmed. Well, one of them, like he clicked something or flipped something, and I swear to God, I dropped 6 inches.
Yeah.
Oh,
And he says it every time before he does anything. He's like, "You're not gonna fall. You're not gonna fall. You're not." He said it over and over again. But like every time, it's like, but like dropping an inch feels like,
I can imagine.
because you're not the one with the parachute attached to you. He's got the parachute attached to him. You're just like tandem strapped to him. So like if you lose
You
him,
need him more than he needs you.
Exactly. Exactly. So
I did the indoor parachuting
Yeah,
thing
yeah.
in Gatlinburg. It's the
Oh,
same
is that
thing,
cool?
right?
yeah, it's totally
Was
the same.
that cool though?
I could never. I don't know. Yeah, it's cool. I just never. It was so long ago, but I just never figured it out. Like
Yeah.
I would just go into the thing and then it'd like shoot over the wall.
Right. It's like skateboarding, man. You just got to learn to lean and,
I
and
guess
ride.
so.
And
I forgot to tell you, we got to cut this podcast off early.
Okay.
It's 7:50. We
Okay.
shut it down.
What are we doing?
I've got a call to get on with my new gig.
Ooh,
Because-
I forgot about that.
because
New
Wilson's
job.
a working man.
Yeah.
So-
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you about. I sent you a text message where one of a girl that's in the, what is it called? The code. It's not. I
Code
want to say
Connect?
Code Connect, but she's in. Is that the name of the program she's in Memphis? It's like a.
It's probably Tech 901.
No.
or,
No, it's it escapes me, but it's another program that a lot of the people that come to the local meetups are in this program. And I saw her at the river because she's a girlfriend of Holly's cousin, and she was just saying how awesome Wilson was and how everybody's just talking about Wilson and how awesome Wilson is and how well he's doing. And she goes, "I even heard he got a job already." And I was like, "Yeah, he did."
That's so nice to hear, man. That's really nice to hear.
That's one of the things I love about the Memphis Tech community is, I mean, we really are generally supportive of each other, very much like the LHRL community. It's like, oh man, you got that job instead of me. Like, but that's awesome for you. Like, it's not like me being pissed off at you, and just generally wanting to. We started Geek Memphis probably 10 plus years ago now, and it's kind of dissipated and been taken over by Memphis Technology Foundation and a couple other groups. But the motto of Geek Memphis was "A rising tide raises all ships." And so the concept was, if we can elevate those around us in the tech community to another level, then all of us get to a higher level. And just generally it helps Memphis be a better tech community and that kind of thing. And so it's just awesome that
It's been very welcoming, and the people have been really, really great. But I figured either with us cutting it off early, we should probably all talk the way that I do the introduction, just to speed
really
up
we want
fast.
to talk a lot
our
faster.
time.
Well, so I want to tell
Just
you about this
everybody,
thing
when we're
that I
talking, we got to talk like this, and then
I wanna tell you
when
about this thing that I'm
you
doing
can slow
this
it down
week.
when you listen to it on iTunes. Check us out, www.
We got 15 minutes.
Oh, Wilson, are you ready to talk about your stuff?
Yeah, I'll tell you what I did this weekend.
Tell me what you did this weekend.
A race for the ages.
A race for the ages. You ever heard of that?
No,
I have
It's
now.
one of Laz's, Lazarus Lakes' races.
you sneaky bastard.
Yeah,
You lied to me.
I did. I kind of lied. I don't know that I lied to you. I didn't give all the details.
You said Amanda and I are going camping this weekend.
We did that.
Okay.
There was a tent, and there was me laying in it instead of running.
There was a lift heavy, run long tent.
Yes.
And I was outed by someone you know.
You were, and while we were at the river, and we were having our big meal, and the whole family was there. My wife there's probably, I don't know how many cousins, and we're all the same age. But anyway, one of them was in Manchester because he lives around that area or whatever, and he was on the phone with Holly's aunt, and Aunt Dee goes, "Hey Vaughn, who do you know in Manchester? Mark says there's a guy there with the lift heavy run long tent." And I was like, what? I was like, there's only one tent, so it has to be Wilson.
There's only one tent, and we know who fucking has it right now. So
right. If somebody else has a tent, they're about to get sued.
It was
holy
more,
shit, you were in Manchester?
Yeah.
Yes.
I jumped in Tullahoma.
Did you really?
I have no idea what that means.
Like, I'm looking at it on
It
the
must have
map.
been
Like, I
close.
probably got off at the Manchester exit to go to Tullahoma Airport.
Yeah.
Well, if they would have let me in that plane, I would have gladly jumped without a
Crap,
parachute.
I wish I totally would have
halfway
stopped
into that
by
thing.
and said, hey.
I
That's fine.
texted Wilson. I said, "Hey, are you in Manchester?" And he's like, "Yeah." And he's like, told me what he was doing. I was like, "How's it going?" He was like, "Not good." But it's interesting to be here by myself.
Well, it was like
Okay, so Race for the Ages.
it was going to be sort of a spiritual deal. Like I was kind of talking about it, and our friend David Lomax goes and does some
Listening right now?
bicycle races, and he does them by himself. And he was telling me, he just said, I really enjoy doing these by myself. I like, going out there, and I like kind of getting alone and getting inside my head, and you should do this. And I thought, okay, well, I'm going to do that by myself. And
Okay. So explain really quick the basis of what this race was.
You have to be over 40, right?
A
No,
race,
no.
a race for the ages, no. Everybody gets at least 40 hours.
Okay.
Outside of that, you get 1 hour for every age you are.
For
So
every
if you-
year
I
over
got you.
40.
So if I'm
So if you're-
44, I
additional
get 44 hours.
Yes.
Right.
Okay.
So I had 42 hours to do as many
1 mile.
1 mile loops on a wide open asphalt pavement and a track. And a lot of these people are old school ultra runners. So it's sort of designed. The background is a lot of these people are too old to run. So Laz decided to get this thing where they'll have, ample time to do the kind of distances that they want to do. So I was surrounded by people who had, ran bad water. Apparently one who had won bad water. There was a story for everybody that went by.
All right.
And it was really a neat thing. But, I got out there and it started off shitty and it just got shittier. And I'm not real sure what to attest to that other than a bad day. But it was not a...
Mentally, physically,
both.
emotionally.
Probably more mentally, which caused, more physical. I was so worried about what might happen that I kept trying to make all these alterations to keep them from happening.
Like new shoes, new socks.
No, I brought a pair of new shoes, but I had my old shoes, but I had Amanda tape my feet because I was worried about blistering. Instead of just knowing that I'm going to get some blisters. And I kept thinking about Vaughn in the Tunnel Hill documentary when he was, sarcastically talking about telling Holly that he needed to have pacers and runners and people giving him food and giving him IVs and, all around him. And what he really wanted to do was just put his shoes on and go run. Mm-hmm. And that's what I should have done. But instead I would do a lap and then stop and put on another pair of socks. And then do a lap and stop and adjust my shoes and then do a lap. And so, every lap has taken me 25 minutes because I'm stopping to do something every time.
Okay.
To eliminate the need to do it later. But what really happened was it was just looking at the time and being like, God, this is taking forever. Then the next thing you know, it's like it's taking forever because I'm a loser. And I'm a loser because I'm an idiot.
That sucks.
And I'm an idiot and it's like, why am I even out here doing this? And then on top of that, I started at 7 p.m. And, I go to bed at like 8:30. And I'm just too damn sleepy to do that. So, I mean, I was
What do you do
tired.
at Georgia Spree? You push
I
through a
fall
Tour de
asleep.
Spree.
No,
That's
I
what
don't.
I told him too. He only slept like 4 hours maybe on Tour de Spree.
But 4 hours is significant.
But still, like you started at 3, you probably went to bed at like midnight.
He did
Anyways.
better though, as
Anyways.
far as any race I've ever seen him take care of his body and take care of himself.
At this race for the ages.
Like
That's
getting
good.
sleep that he needed and not trying to push through and then hurt himself.
So, lesson learned, try and continue to find that spiritual experience elsewhere. Find those races you're not going to tell anybody else you're doing and you're just going to show up. And I'm not busting your balls. Like, I think that's important because I think if you were like, well, I'm going to go do this race by myself, down in Manchester, people would have shown up. Like, I would have dropped by, like, and that's not what you were looking for, and that's okay. I'm just saying, like, keep doing it. I don't think you should not do it because I think you will find, without shrooms, you will find that spiritual level. That
I think you're right.
for.
It's there. I mean, I know it's there.
Yeah.
I saw it in all these people.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of people down there who are there because they know how to get that experience that I was looking for.
So how long did you run?
I did 54 miles.
54.
Yes.
Okay.
Is that your longest run ever?
That's why I did
Yes.
54. 53 was my previous. But I went down there thinking, I bet I can get 100 miles. I bet I can get maybe do a 16 or 17 hour 50 miler, get some sleep, and then, that'll still leave me with another like 20 hours to do another 50. And it just wasn't. It just wasn't happening. So I went back and slept at the hotel for a long while, most of the day on Saturday. This is after sleeping in between miles at night. And then the next night, hell, I would do a lap. I would do a mile and then set my timer for 20 minutes and fall asleep, then wake up and do another mile, set my timer for 20 minutes.
You did 54 miles. That's your
Yeah.
longest run ever.
Yep.
You did it in under 42 hours. So that's impressive.
And I don't want to do it less. I want to do it more. Like right now, I'm already in the place that like that would be fun to do again, or something like that. I'm excited about ultra season. But let me tell you this, the people out there.
Talk faster.
So the guy that they got the most miles, how old do you think he probably was?
76.
74.
You're so close.
4,000 years old.
How many miles do you think he got?
How many hours? 76 hours?
74.
74 hours?
Can I say the answer?
200 miles?
230. Very good.
230?
74 years old, man.
Wow.
Cranked out 230.
These people, I just don't know how to suffer the way these people
Yeah,
know
I'm
how to
telling you,
suffer.
man, I don't know what it is, but I've seen
Yeah, you
running 50s and
need to hush right now because you totally know about that level of suffering. So
Yeah, you do.
Okay.
But go ahead with what you're saying.
I mean, these old people will just go by. These old ultra runners that have been doing this they can just go and just go and go and go, and you're just like, wow, how are they even doing
They were
this?
all like hunched over. They looked pitiful.
It looked
Some
like
people
100
had,
people
like-
trying out for the Thriller video.
Some people had the toes
200.
had the toes of
That's
their
funny.
shoes cut out with just their
74.
sock showing. Some people had like sandals on. They
It
were
looked like
all-
Weekend at Bernie's, only there was nobody holding Bernie up.
I mean, I read the website.
If you were to watch Mark McGuire hit a home run and turn your body and look up and then just start walking like that for 24 hours. That's what,
It says on the website this is all for a bunch of old geezers.
yeah. And Laz was out there the whole time.
Was he?
Just probably scooting at a mile an hour. Every so often, would his back or something would
Smoke a
was
cigarette.
bother him. I'm sure he was listening to football, and his white shirt, that white button-down shirt that somebody brought him. There was a couple of signs out there, and one of them said, "There will come a day when you can no longer run. Today is not that day."
That is a sub 20-minute mile for 74 hours straight.
This dude was cranking them out, and during the day it's 100 degrees. 90
Yeah.
something degrees.
That's crazy.
So he's getting most of those miles at night.
But I'm just saying, like, that's I just did the math. It's a 1918 mile average.
Another saying that was out there was, running slow is not a character flaw. Quitting is. Thought that was pretty impactful. I saw Colleen Johnson and her husband out there. You remember Colleen that came on the show?
Oh yeah.
The one that Swanson, you referred to her as a man.
I see her at the road race series every couple of weeks, and
She got 100 miles.
Yeah, she stopped at 100.
She's a badass.
Yeah, she is totally a badass.
I got mad respect for her, despite what it may have appeared while she was on the show.
They served a Cracker Barrel every 6 hours? Every 4 hours?
4 or 6
I like
hours.
that.
4 to 6 hours.
That's worth the price of admission alone.
Yeah. So they had like real food when they wanted it, pretty much. Of course, everybody had their tents up and everything laid out. You know, food galore everywhere, drinks, beds, cots.
They
sell ice.
I'm not going to get to take part as fully as I'd like in Tour de Spree this year. I will be there because it starts on Wilson's birthday. But Carol's birthday, or Carol's Memorial Wad, is the next day, so shit's got to be done related to that. But I'm hoping at the sober run to maybe have a good positive experience.
Good.
I don't know if I'm ever going to run again.
You run almost every day. You may not run like that. You may not do an ultra, but don't say you're never going to run again.
I know. I'm just kidding.
Do you have any running plans for this fall?
I do not.
None. Are you going to do Stanky Creek?
Well, the big one is Sillamore. Like, I have to go to Sillamore.
Yeah.
All right. So that's the only thing that's really on my mind.
St. Jude or anything?
You going to crush 25K?
I don't know. I may end up just going.
I think you should crush the 25K.
You know.
Yeah, you could kill that.
I made 25K that thing too. Depending on how.
It's
just too hard.
I enjoy everything but the running. So
it's too much.
Let's just go
I
out
enjoy the running. I just haven't done it in a while. But
I think all of us have kind of taken a hiatus on the running. I'm trying to get back into it, and then my foot fell off my body.
I thought I was feeling pretty good about my running, and then I went and ran. That was the problem. I should have just kept that confidence, kept that rolling until I was 74, and then beat that guy's record.
Okay, so we got 2 minutes left.
2 minutes.
How late were you up after drinking the NoCo last week?
He wasn't.
Not at all. You can't phase me, dude.
Dude went right to sleep.
So this past weekend, Labor Day weekend, I skydived Sunday morning. My son and I got up on Wednesday in Nashville. We drove to Louisville. The game started at 7 p.m. Central Time and ended at 11 p.m. Central Time. We drove back to Nashville, got there about 1 a.m., and then I drove from Nashville back to Memphis, which is about a 3-hour drive. So about
how many no complies?
About an hour into the drive, I popped open a NoCo and just started sipping on it. Like, I didn't down it, but I was just like, every time I yawned, I was like, oh, I'll take a sip. And I couldn't sleep when I got home. I got home at like 4 a.m. and I was just like wide awake. And that's usually those drinks don't caffeine, I will say, doesn't affect me directly like that, but I think it's got like vitamin B and all the other stuff in it that's supposed to like energize you. And I think my body was like, okay, we're about to go do some shit. Let's, and it's funny. Katie said when I walked in at 4 a.m., "Oh, are you getting up for CrossFit? Because it's Tuesday morning. This is when you'd get up and go to a CrossFit class." And I'm like, "No, my ass is tired. I'm getting to bed." So,
I am designed to go to sleep at 8:30, regardless of what I take or drink or whatever. 8:30 is just, I just can't make it through the night.
I ain't mad at you.
Too hard.
Lift heavy, run long, number 161.
It's
in the
books.
Nicely done, boys and girls. I enjoyed it.